books are fun Lionel products. HO versions are cute, especially if they work. The Husky switchers included the AEC, and Minneapolis and St. Louis road names. The AEC switcher was included in the special display made for NBC executives. It also includes an NBC billboard. The rotary snowplow runs well, but sometimes the blade sticks. The executives in this inspection car are probably very frustrated. The track cleaning car features two rotating pads. The bottle of track cleaning fluid is just like the ones on the O-gauge version. Is a simple little piece. The polarity of the direct current may prevent the car from switching directions at the bumper. Correct this by facing the car in the opposite direction. Lionel's HO GE 44-ton switcher is actually scale. Their O-gauge version was too big. This is set number 5751. A few other notable sets include the over and under set from 1960. The HO pieces are easier to find than a few of the O-gauge versions, especially the caboose. A valise pack was used to carry the Take Me Along set from 1961. Lionel produced a line of accessories based on some of their existing O-gauge accessories. The rotary beacon and radar tower are both really nice pieces. A manual crane using the same tower structure was also made. Sometimes the towers are found with kinked handrails. If you take a hairdryer and carefully blow hot air on the railing, it should straighten back into place. The popular gate man was also made in HO gauge. A lot of them turn up with the side of the building melted from the light bulb inside. Items like the bumpers and billboards are very difficult to find.
The HO line produced some very nice structures. In fact, some items I would have liked to have seen in O-gauge. For example, the engine house. It's a very handsome design.
There are other versions of this with either the O-gauge whistle or horn units. One of the most collectible HO accessories is the banjo signal. When it works, it's a nice piece. It's too big for HO gauge. O-scale modelers like it because it is perfectly sized for O-gauge. These accessories were fine, but it's too bad they never produced something the trains could interact with, like an HO version of their operating sawmill. supplied Lionel with many of their Plasticville buildings, including the suburban station and farm. Lionel produced many transformers and controllers for their HO line. This 0104 transformer has controls for operating two separate trains. The 0102 power supply is used in conjunction with an 0181 cab controller, which control the power to the track. Circuit breakers for AC and DC power are included. Everyone knows Lionel produced a clear body version of their classic Santa Fe F3. They also made a few HO models with clear bodies. This is the Alco. And this is the 0645 steam locomotive. Collectors of Lionel HO gauge used to concentrate solely on mint boxed items. But Lionel HO collecting is growing, and new collectors are not as interested in the mint boxed pieces. There are many items that command as much or more than comparable O-gauge products.
The HO line was, while those items might not appeal to the purist HO modeler, I mean, you can't really expect him to put an exploding boxcar on a trestle bridge that it took him 3 years to make. But forget about him. As far as play value is concerned, the Lionel HO line was terrific.
In 1974, Lionel tried their hand at HO again. HO was as popular as ever. Some nice pieces were made for the Lionel line, particularly the GS4 steam engine. The applied detail is impressive, including handrails, piping, valves, graphics, and the front coupler. The tender is scale, unlike the O-gauge version, which was the smaller toy Pensy type. The American Freedom Train is one of the best-looking sets Lionel ever produced. The paint scheme is crisp and accurate. The GS4 set came with 5 cars. In our Century videos, I put these cars in the order Lionel had them in their catalogs. That was the wrong order. They should be arranged in numerical order. Jeeps were decent models as well. Unlike the post-war Lionel HO Jeeps, these have handrails. Here's the HO version of the gold chassis Jeep. The real one had a chop-nose cab. Lionel's HO Jeeps are often found without the handrails. This is the American Flyer set made for Sears. This is the first time Lionel produced something with the American Flyer name since acquiring the company in the mid-1960s. Lionel also made many Alco FAs. This is an interesting piece. It is an HO version of Lionel's railscope. Lionel made a G-scale and O-gauge version as well. They sometimes work. This locomotive represents the last HO item Lionel made. It was produced between 1988 and 1990. Lionel's HO rolling stock was sufficient. They made models of many modern freight cars, such as the high-cube boxcar. Here's a scale refrigerator car. This one is marked for Schlitz beer. Lionel used to occasionally make cars with alcoholic beverages or tobacco products on them. A particularly collectible line of Lionel HO is the Canadian line. These are packaged in unique-looking boxes. Most of the Canadian line features items with Canadian road names on them. This line was marketed by Parker Brothers. This is the Confederation Flyer set. As usual, not many accessories were made for Lionel's HO line. A few reissues were made, however. These included the rotary beacon, the girder bridge, and the trestle sets. This bridge was offered by Bachmann. It is almost identical to Lionel's 2317 operating bridge for 027 gauge. Some nice building kits were available as well. A German company named Pola designed them. One of the most elaborate of these is this large station. It took me 4 hours to build it. Modern era Lionel HO also has some rare and unusual pieces. Repaints like this 3 Mile Island car are sought after by collectors. Not many collectors are aware of this clear body Jeep. This one-of-a-kind Alco body was vacuum metallized. We hope you've enjoyed seeing these interesting trains. Interest in the Lionel 00 and HO lines has increased dramatically over the past 5 years. Who knows? Maybe we're closer to the time when Lionel will make another attempt at one or both of these gauges.
Now, Lionel continues its merchandise policy of introducing its best-selling 027 operating cars into HO. For 1962, look what Lionel has done to the constantly increasing HO train business. The new Minuteman missile launching car. The new sheriff and outlaw car shown here with the sheriff shooting it out with the outlaw while protecting the new gold bullion car. And simultaneously with their introduction in 027, this select group of exciting big volume items completely new to model railroading are also being introduced into the HO line for 62. The new turbo missile firing car. The new cop and hobo car. The new rodeo car. And the new Mercury capsule carrying car. And there's big news in Lionel HO locomotives too. Really big news. Now for the first time in HO, a Lionel steamer with whistles. Now, for the first time in HO, a diesel with horn.